Good night. Good night.
Evening. How are you?
I am totally okay if you are okay. I hope you are okay. All right. I don't want to spoil up your name, so you can tell the people your name, please.
Okay. Shalom. My name is Amalia Israel.
Okay.
And I'm so honored and happy that you would invite me to be here with you this time, Muta.
Yeah, well, sir, when I was in Israel, I was invited to Israel by the group, so, no problem. I remember when the group used to come here regular, we used to have some serious discourse on the radio. We used to be on the radio talking cutting edge more than 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and we had the honor of interviewing, one of the rare interviews with Benjamin at the time when we came down there, and that was something else, Give thanks still, yes. Give thanks. Yes. So how have you been? How you going on? What's happening? Why in Jamaica?
You said...
Why are you in Jamaica? How long have you been here?
I've been here a few weeks, and I came as a result of the family coming to experience a wedding that one of the young couples was holding here. So, coming all the way from Israel, there was no way. I mean, that would just be a tease, a torturous tease for me to come and just do that and not see my brothers and sisters who I've done for eons.
Yes. All right, so you can just give the people them a little historical background of the Hebrew Israelites' journey from America to Liberia to now in Dimona, Israel. Give them a little synopsis of how it all began.
Okay, no problem. First of all, as always, I would like to begin with the origin of the journey by giving honor and praises to Yah Israel for having, again, like I said, originated the journey from day one, as we call in the beginning, in the Bereshit, in the Genesis. And the sons and daughters of Yah, or the nature, or life, and truth, have always been a part of the enlightening of the masses of the people. And so, as it would be, Ben-Ami, who founded and was the spiritual leader of our community in the 60s in America, in Chicago specifically, he was constantly turning over and trying to ask, what is this plight of our people? Why are we experiencing this horrific reality, especially at that moment in time? That moment in time was the time when the cities were in uproar: Detroit, LA, Chicago, New York, you name it, because of the atrocities perpetrated against our people. Our people being an African people in a foreign land for over 400 years and subjugated to lesser than human status. So in questioning and in observing, and the cry went out from Ben-Ami, and he's like, please tell me what's going on, what needs to be done, because certainly we cannot continue in this existence. So he had a dream, a vision. And the vision was 45 seconds, no longer than that, and it is time to leave America and go to the promised land. So he debated He had self-conflict over and over, and thinking and praying and meditating. And was like, okay, if I say this, I'm going to be looked at as a lunatic. But after a couple of weeks, he braved it. Because this was a message to me as a Hebrew at a Beta Cultural Center in Chicago. It was a message that he needed to share and galvanize the people. As it would be, there were over a year's worth of time of planning. Some decided they would walk. Some decided, how do you get there? Here you are, what's your means? The transportation. We got a bus, we got a car, we got an airplane. So it was determined, and nearly 400 left Chicago in 1967, around this time, right after Memorial Passover, and they went into the bush of Liberia. Why Liberia? Liberia because Liberia had provisions within its constitution to receive Africans in the diaspora in repatriation. It was one of the few countries that had opened doors and making this possible. It's not, you just can't show up anywhere all the time and be received warmly. So, as it would be, there's nearly 400 souls, men, women, and children, were moved by ship, by flying ship, by airplane from America into Liberia, Monrovia, and then to go up and to the interior of Liberia and spend 2.5 years there. 2.5 years becoming accustomed to the land of Africa, which is a different land. It's a totally different land than the land of America. It's a totally different land. It's a different landscape. It's a different climate. Everybody, knows this is not North America. It's proximity to the equator and everything. It's tropical. It's bush. You put your hand out at night and you can't see your hand. It's so dark.
Look here. How long were you all in Liberia before you start to move, venture to Israel? How long were you in Liberia?
2.5 years.
All 400?
From 1967 to almost 1970. That's when the first group. Initially, we had a scout that came in 68, Prince Hiskiyahu. He came literally the following month after Martin Luther King was assassinated. He had made this speech. He said, I've been to the mountaintop, and I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I might not get there with you, but we as a people will get to the promised land. The following month, on May the 2nd, Prince Hiskiyahu and Benny arrived in Tel Aviv, Israel, Ben Gurion Airport. Okay? So he was the first, those two were the first scouts. Prince Hiskiyahu, who remained in Israel, became a part of the kibbutz system. Kibbutz is the communal system that Israel had put in place in order for the growth and development of the country, where people have food, shelter, and clothing provided. In return, they give their servitude on multi-skill levels and develop and grow institutes. Prince Hiskiyahu was a singer, a musician, a tap dancer, and a skilled craftsman, hand craftsman. So he became a part of the kibbutz system. He learned the Hebrew language and mastered the land through song, especially able to, wield the language. And he made set a precedent for the rest. The following year, in 1969, the first group arrived, the men, women, and children, mostly women and children, to Ben Gurion Airport, because at that time, if you came and you said you had an affinity to the land of Israel, you were granted the process of becoming a citizen. So that's how it came. They stated that. They were held at the airport for over 24 hours because now you've got this dark-skinned people coming and saying this. And then Israel is like, the Ministry of Interior is like, well, are you Jewish? And we're saying no. Historically, we're not Jewish. We are a people who are of the lifestyle of the Bible, or the lifestyle of understanding who we are spiritually, and inclined to Israel as the motherland, as the origin of humanity. So they held us, and they were back and forth with Princess Gail, who came to the airport. He had some support from the kibbutz, and then there was the pushback of the Ministry of Interior. And it was the hour of the day that and it's telephone calls back and forth, literally to the Ministry of Interior, until finally there was a woman that convinced them to let the people in, and they were sent to Dimona, Israel, which is in the southern portion. It's 25 miles south of Beersheba, which is the hub of the south. It's a development town. So it was
why
at that time.
Why Dimona, Israel? Why Dimona was the place chosen? Why y'all chose Dimona?
It was chosen for us by this representative working with the Ministry of Interior. Again, you get into the off the beaten track, then you go into the Hebrew absorption centers where you learn land, the way of the land, and you start to be indoctrinated, or you start to learn the way of the land, essentially.
Yes,
so
yes.
It makes sense because you're not a part of the infrastructure, and the urban aspect of life is a little bit slower, and you can grasp. And actually, it was horse and buggy in Dimona at that time when the people got here, when our brothers and sisters got here. So, and Dimona as well, essentially settled by Northeast Africans, especially from Morocco and Algeria. Okay, so that's the way that it went. And it wasn't just Dimona, it was also Arad, and especially Arad, Dimona, and Midday Ramon, where we now still reside in these three cities in the south.
So that from 1960, that's about what, 40 years, 50 years? It's about 50 years.
Right.
Yes. And you have what is the population of that community now, as it is? What's the population?
Well, the population is approximately throughout the land 2,500 to 3,000 people.
Yes, and children born and married children.
I have 4.
You have 4 children?
All born and raised in Israel.
All right. Tell the people, all right, in the tradition that I saw when I came there, it is allowed in that tradition that a man can have up to 4 wives, right?
Yeah, within our tradition, we have those that have 4 wives, and it's up to 7 wives as it's written in the scriptures.
All right, so explain to it from a woman point of view. What is it like to come from a a monotheistic society and then end up in a group of religious people who now declare that a man can have more than 4 wives, and then you become a part of that religious thinking. Explain to me, what is it like for you as a woman coming from the West to go slam bam into that?
Okay, because we got to take the misnomer out. It has nothing to do with religion. Okay? Now, you've got relatively the idea of coming from America where it's supposed to be a monogamous society.
Yeah.
One man, one wife.
Yeah.
Born and raised in that reality, that is not the predominant practice. If it is the predominant practice, it's a lie. It's a lie because marriage, most marriage, first of all, in the one man and one woman, too often the cheating, the lying, the sneaking, the lipstick on the collar, what is this, who is this, the jealousy, the emotions, the rage, the infighting, the enmity, all of that is very prominent to the extent now that marriage is totally being questioned, period. The youth today are very skeptical about entering into this bond that binds them, So, that's a practice that grew out of a religious idea. That did. And it's supported by Christianity. As you know, most of the world is not practicing that. There's many cultures that have more than one wife, especially in the East. Islam.
Yeah, especially Islam.
Right? And even, especially African origins. There's many traditional relationships. So,
I met an African in Cameroon with 72 wives in the Cameroon.
Yeah, and I've been reading. You've got a lot of different cases. With a lot of children, huge families, and everything. So, so being born and raised in America, and just seeing how people deal. I was exposed through cultural nationalism, especially. I was a Pan-Africanist with the All-African People's Revolutionary Party for over 7 years. And I experienced West Coast. There was this family here, Tennessee, with family at Jonathan, this family over here, that family, more than one wife. Yeah. And so I was exposed to that, and I witnessed it, And the thing to me that I figured out for myself was that it really doesn't go with the lay of the land in America, because I wouldn't have my parents, my brothers and sisters to support the idea. Because if they're steeped in the Western idea, it would just always be, what are you doing? Why are you doing? It's not worth your time. That's how I thought. So when you ensconce yourself in an environment, that has provisions and accepts the idea of more than one wife, now you begin to relax and begin to sink in and to really explore the potentiality of such a relationship. Now, number 2, you've got to move out the pictures of sex. Muta, you've been married a long time, and you know that the percentage of sex in your marriage is not at the height of the essence of that relationship.
Yeah.
It's the soul-to-soul bond. It's the meeting of the minds. It's the joy and laughter, the love, the experience, the struggle. It's so many more dynamics to life than what is made of it, especially exploited in the West, vis-a-vis media. So you got to put it in its place. So when you move that out the picture, then you begin to understand the feasibility. Okay, for myself, I've been married 38 years with more than one wife. And it's been a blessing every step of the way.
Okay.
There are obstacles, there are ups and downs, but that's like in everything, in every part of life.
Well, obstacles is in monogamous relationships too. Not only polygamy, but monogamous relations have obstacles in it much less. You know?
Regardless.
Yeah.
You know, that's life. That's you as an individual trying through, you know. So until you master how to handle that challenge that you're faced with, once you master that, then you keep moving.
Yes. Yeah.
Marriage is for mature people. It's not for 5-year-olds. Unfortunately, according to the way the trend is in the European Western idea, where, consent, the child of 8 can have the consent to have sex. It's not for them. You know that. It's immature. They don't have the faculty to process everything that they're going to face.
Yeah. I think...
So it's for mature people, period.
Yeah. But I noticed that most Western so-called educated women look down on women who's in a monogamous relationship. They always feel like they are being taken advantage of and all them things. And here are you now, you saying that you're married for 30 odd years in a polygamous relationship. And I don't consider you to be, something less than. Some women in the West here, them have relationship with one man, so them think. And them life is miserable. So the idea of looking down on women who deal with polygamy is really not becoming, because you feel that you're a Western educated woman.
Because the prism that you have to look at the prism that they're looking from. That's where the fight gets started.
Yeah.
You understand? Because whose mind do they have? That's what you have to figure out. Like you said, they look down on women. First of all, everything outside of me I have to look down on, because I am hierarchically in a better position than you. That is a definite Western concept.
Yes.
You understand? Yeah. I was born and raised in America. I was taught that the world outside of this boundary in America is prejudice. I was taught that. Come to find out, the opposite. The most prejudiced people I come to find were within that boundary. You step out, I go. Man, they program you to feel like you cannot try the neighborhoods of Kingston without, armed guards.
Yeah.
You understand? It's not like that, my brother. It's not like that. People have a tendency to look at you as a person instead of an object.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything in that area is for objectifying people and eating them alive. I promise you.
Yes, yes.
We
All
were
right.
taught that the cannibals came from Africa, and then we come to find out it's the opposite.
Yeah.
African people traditionally are plant-based people.
All right, wait. So make we come to back to the development. And after being in Dimona now, what is it that they use, the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites use to actually reach a stage where they could, I mean, I've been there and say, you know, you people make your own clothes. Actually, you had a tofu factory when I was down there. You know, your food is always, and Benjamin have a day of fasting, one day of, you know, no certain things, don't eat certain days. You know, how you reach to that stage? Are you compelled to actually read the Old Testament every day like all the people read the Quran and memorize it? What is it that make you different from the Jews, the so-called Jews in Israel?
Well, as it would be, number one, again, we are way up blessed. This is our every waking breath. Our every waking breath is to say yes to life and no to everything that seeks to destroy life. When you operate from that premise, you get a different outcome. Because you value the air, the water, the earth, the spirit, the truth, the beauty. You honor all that has been provided for you to live and maintain your sanity. I promise you. So that's a different premise. You know, ours is not to conquer nature. Ours is to subside and, you know, and to work in harmony with nature. So that's we're not okay. We understand that everything has been provided. You're good here on this earth, and everything is there for you to thrive on. Everything is there. The problem is that you don't even recognize and appreciate the things that are there for you to do with. Yeah. That's where the problem is. Because, you know, this quest for more and greed, you know, overconsumption, you know, overuse, abuse. This is where the difference lies. So,
I want you to hold that thought. We have to take a break and come forward. When the program started, I was talking to the sister and talking about monogamy, and I said monotheism. It's a different word totally. I just realized what happened, what I was doing here, why I said that. So I just want to correct myself, say it's not really monotheism I meant to say, because monotheism is the idea of one God. It's monogamy. I didn't want to say. Anyway, I correct myself still. Anyway, yes, we're talking to the sister Amaya Israel. Is that pronounced right?
That's pronounced perfect. Thank you.
All right. And as you say, she lived in Dimona, Israel for much years, and who was on the subject of how the religion accepts the man to have more than one wife. And she said that she's living 30 years now, and she's one of the wives of her husband. So what I was saying now, when I came down there, as I say, one was almost self-sufficient in all these things.
Right.
How you reach that level? How you reach that level? Because I know you have other groups who try to do it, and it don't work. How you get to reach that level where you can directly see that there is some communal and community living happening amongst each other?
You know, that's a perfect question, because one thing is that as the odds were against us, you start there, working from a deficit, right? Because through slavery, through all these years, mind you now, the years, it didn't start 400 years. It goes way back when. And the whole idea was that we were at a deficit, and we had to, again, realize that maybe we have everything that we need. It's just how are we using it? We weren't using the tools that we were given properly. So, that being considered, we have to galvanize the people who were on the fringes of society and manage to focus spiritually on one Yah and turn the whole idea around to go from the fringes to become front and center to the world stage. That's essentially what happened. Okay? And the reason why is because the force that we had working in our behalf was what we call the Holy Creator. That we understand the establishment of it all came from in the beginning. Once we walked in tandem with the idea that there is this super idea, this super power that orders the sun to rise and the moon to set in a timely manner every day, everywhere in the world, consistently. Once you get that power working with you, can't nothing stop you. So, they left out of America because no matter what, remember there's the RNA, the Republic of New Africa. Remember, take 5 states and, have our sovereignty. But lo and behold, it never seemed to pan out without fizzling out. So, put them together, got to Liberia, got into Israel. Now, on the terms, because again, coming to the gate in Ben Gurion Airport saying, we're coming because we know that we're Israelites and this is our home and that's why we're here. Okay, so they accept that. We always had something in mind to negotiate with. Then the following year, they changed the rule, they changed the law to say that you have to have a Jewish mother in order to stake this right to return.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man.
So, a Jewish mother.
That's what they did. So, where is my Jewish mother? My mother is born and raised in Chicago. She's a Christian. Well, you don't qualify. Oh, the heck I don't. Okay, so this is where the challenge grew hotter. And so initially, when we were on the route to become a temporary resident, to become a permanent resident, instead of just 3-month visa and you leave, you understand there's a process. So they take away the state-provided services, school, medical, jobs, and they leave you there to fend for yourself. No problem. We started school. We've got educators. Homeschooling, that's not new. We created the New Kingdom School in Holiness that was in existence for 20 years. We have graduates from the New Kingdom School in Holiness who have matriculated into the college system in Israel as a teacher. You understand? So we did that. We taught our own. We used our buildings. We used our environment. We taught under a tree. We taught in any given space. We taught in our homes. We slept by night and by day in the classroom. We did what was necessary for our children to learn Hebrew language, English language, reading, writing, life preservation, anatomy, things that will carry you forever. All right? We did that. We created, like you say, clothing. Take a piece of fabric, we'll make our own clothes. Simple. Tailor-made clothes from birth. That's all you had to wear was tailor-made clothes. Shoes. We crochet shoes. We used things that were in tandem with the environment. Our objective was to be ecologically sound. So we have an eco shoe. I got 7 to 10 different varieties with me today here that I can put on my feet and carry me wherever I need to go.
All right. So we were talking about making own clothes and using cotton and making your own shoes and to be more ecologically friendly. You know, it was sweet and nice when me and Tony Rebel was there. You know that you're amongst hundreds of people and the community don't have no flesh cooking there, just vegetarian food. It was really nice. That was part of the sweetness of that gathering there that we went. Imagine you there a place with 1,000 people there and for much days and none of them now eat meat. None of them now eat, nothing more than vegetarian food. It was really nice.
Oh yeah. It's like you say, and add to that, did you see a liquor store?
No. No.
Was a pack of cigarettes sold?
I never want to know cigarette now, herbs and either.
The people, you can imagine relative to the pollution in the air.
Yes.
Think about the quality of life without those things present. To me, it's a very safe environment in that sense. I felt good that my children, how children pick up off the ground and put things in their mouth.
Yes.
It wasn't going to be something of that nature, that you wouldn't want them to touch their lips or their tongue at all,
Yeah.
At just such an innocent age. So, yeah, that's the, and we have solar. We do solar food. So we live in the heat. Right now it's a drought going on. It's 100 degrees on average.
Yeah. I remember when we went to Jericho, it was like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. It was really hot there. Yeah.
And now, if you need to make some chickpeas, you can do it on a solar cooker, and you're off the grid as far as buying gas and buying electricity if you want to cook your food.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's really great. All right.
So it adds to the quality of life. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So the religious aspect of it, where I know that most of the living is based upon the Torah. You call it Torah, or you call it the Old Testament.
Torah is good.
Torah, okay. So the Torah, and I know that sometimes you quote from the New Testament, but there's a thing there that when I went to the Jerusalem and all those religious sites, the brethren them was showing me how they use the concept of Jesus to really make the people them more believing in something that is not real. That's really what the brethren was showing me. Say, all of it was more like a tourist attraction rather than something in history where there was a man named Jesus Christ who did all the things that them same do and would come back and save me. How you view that now in Israel? Given that the Israeli them don't accept it, the Jesus thing either, they don't accept it.
Okay, it's one thing. I think the simplicity of it. There have been messengers. Jesus wasn't a messenger. It was Yeshua that was a messenger.
Yeah, definitely.
Etymologically, there was no J in the language at that point in time.
Yeah.
And Yeshua his name is it's tantamount to salvation.
Yes.
Okay. At the same time, the idea is for you to, it puts you in a complacent state where you don't do what you need to do to improve your predicament.
Yes, yeah.
Because you're waiting on grace, you're waiting on, this pie in the sky to come with you. You're knight in shining armor as a woman. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do with the mind and the hands that have been given you?
Yes.
What do you do with them? You need to do something constructive. And this is where the problem lies. So all of that, is like, okay, so when we see the white face, blue-eyed blonde, then we know that when I'm in Zambia and I see that figure, then I follow him and I'm on the route to salvation. Mm-hmm. No way. Don't dupe yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing in your hand. It's been given to you. But this day and age, all that is required from the government is for you to pull up to the gas tank and fill it up and give the money. You don't have to do nothing else. You don't have to think. You don't have to respond. All you have to do is follow the blind Pied Piper. Yeah. That's all that you... And so when you are to rest your future in the hands of afterlife. Mm. But in the meantime, how am I supposed to prosper now? I'm supposed to just suffer this to be? I don't think so. Yeah. Take it into your own hands and craft the life of living as has been given you the power from the beginning.
I think Christianity is a way to pacify, especially African people. They use it to pacify you, so as not to make you do for yourself what you can do for yourself. I think that is really what it's all about. Pacifying you. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So we move from now. We are in this time now, this period, after how much years? Nearly 50 years. And we have gotten reports from Israel that the government of Israel is seeking to send back the Hebrew Israelites back to America. What is spurring that? What is causing that to happen?
Well, again, as you know, Muta, the book doesn't get read from the middle. You got to go to the beginning. You understand? In order to have the full picture of what's going on. The deal is that historically we have been at this crossroad before, and that this was something foreseen every step of the way. When you have, again, this challenge, it's the Ministry of Interior challenge. The Ministry of Interior is seated at the door to the Ministry of Interior is the ultra-Orthodox Jew. Yes. That, that has the rubber stamp. Enter, exit, enter, exit, enter, exit, So, at this point in time, and in other points in time, they deem it necessary to let us know that within 21 days, if you don't appeal the status question, then you will be deported in 60 days. This came post-COVID, post-Memorial Passover 2021. This letter. This is not the first letter. These letters have been from the beginning as we started this conversation. Okay, so as it would be, what the Benami and the leadership had about 8 years ago set a process in motion with these given names of families to rectify their lack of status situation. So it's been in process for that period of time.
Okay.
And come to now you got a fledgling government. We got to keep that in the picture, right? So the post-COVID-19, post-Memorial Passover, they issue this letter to 45 families that, again, 21 days appeal or be deported in 60 days. So that 60-day period is up in about a week.
Okay.
And so the families, we have presently a lawyer, human rights lawyer who has chosen to take on this challenge, and it's in procedure. Me being here, I haven't got the update as to where exactly that is at. I can find out, and I can bring it to you. I can bring it to you so you can share it with the public. What the exact status is. Just yesterday, which was the 2nd of June, there was a show of solidarity that took place in a major venue in Tel Aviv, which is in the center of the country. And it was a program that was saying no deportation.
Yes, hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, you were saying about the families. The families.
So the families are, getting their lawyers, getting their paperwork together for the lawyers and everything, and prayerfully the time has been afforded to continue the appeal, which can keep them, without the threat of deportation.
Deportation. Oh, so it's not the whole group then? It's just the family, some families.
Yes, see, the rumor went out that everybody was being deported.
Yeah, that's what we hear. What's what we hear up here, that the population of Hebrew Israelites was asked to leave Israel. But you are saying, though, it's a family. It's just a family.
It was about 135 souls, 45 different families.
Okay. Well,
but of course, the threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Yes, of course.
Injustice is injustice. So whether it was my family or not, it was neither here nor there, because you are my family either way.
Yes. We give thanks that you're still around, and it's good to hear you in Jamaica. I don't see you yet still. But how long will you be here? How long are you going to be here?
I only have 12 days left.
You go straight back to Israel or you go to America?
Unfortunately, I have to stop in New York.
Okay.
Because the direct flights aren't happening right now. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm not visiting. It's just a layover. But within this time, I do intend to sit down and see you face to face. I've enjoyed your family immensely.
Yes. Okay. Well, nice talking to you. And I'm glad that I spoke to you. Because I know that a lot of people was very concerned about that news that we got out of Israel. So now that you clear it up, it is good to hear you clear it up, Give thanks.
It's definitely a challenge, and it is our prayer that that our servitude to our Yah and our people deems us worthy to continue and shine our light to the nations from that arena.
Okay. All right. Give thanks.